Hello and welcome to the 2023 Back to School Training Test Security. My name is Shara Savage. I'm in the Office of Assessment and Accountability. Today, in this training, we will cover the testing regulations, test security, best practices as it relates to test security, and Cavion Core. First, let's start with the regulations. So first, let's take a look at the Administration Code training, which is based on Regulation 703 KAR 5080. Ensuring test security is a collective responsibility involving every stakeholder, from the Kentucky Department of Education, KDE, to the students taking the assessment. It is essential to effectively communicate all pertinent information about testing to those responsible for administering the test. Ultimately, teachers and proctors bear the brunt of allegations in case of any mishaps. Therefore, it is crucial to avoid putting anyone in a vulnerable position by providing them with comprehensive knowledge of what to expect and how to handle various situations during the assessment process. Establishing a well-defined procedure for the counting and tracking of test materials is crucial. This includes meticulous check-in and check-out protocols to maintain accountability. Analyzing vendor results can be instrumental in identifying and addressing any potential issues that may arise during administering assessments. By leveraging this information, educators and administrators can narrow down problem areas and implement appropriate measures to ensure the integrity of the assessment process. Having an engaged proctor is vital to the smooth conduct of assessments. An engaged proctor actively moves around the testing environment, diligently monitoring students to ensure they follow instructions and are in the appropriate section of their test booklets or online test section. The proctor also ensures that students keep only allowable items on their testing stations, minimizing the risk of unauthorized aids or materials. Maintaining an engaged proctoring approach ensures that the testing environment remains controlled and conducive to fair and accurate assessment outcomes. Compliance with the Administration Code is mandatory for all individuals involved in administering any state assessment, whether online or paper-based. To facilitate understanding and adherence, the Administration Code trainings are offered in various formats, including in-person sessions and utilization of districts' online learning systems. KDE also provides these trainings, which can be accessed through our official website. By participating in these trainings, educators and administrators can familiarize themselves with the Administration Code's guidelines and protocols, ensuring they are well equipped to uphold the integrity of the assessment process. Now let's take a look at Inclusions of Special Populations training, which is based on 703 KAR 5070. In order to maintain compliance and ensure a standardized approach to state assessments, anyone involved in the administration of these assessments must undergo annual Administration Code training. This training serves as a comprehensive guide to the rules and regulations governing the assessment process. Moreover, individuals responsible for providing assistance with students' accommodations must complete the Administration Code and the Inclusions of Special Populations training. Many districts require that all test administrators and parties involved in state assessments to complete both trainings. It is important to note that this is a local decision and can be enforced independently of the Kentucky Department of Education without requiring their consent. When it comes to students' accommodations, it is crucial to remain vigilant and informed, particularly when changes arise close to the testing period. Caution should be exercised before making any education plan modifications related to the accommodations during or near the state-required assessment window. Such changes may be prompted by factors such as the timing of the annual meeting. However, any adjustments made must be supported by relevant data and evidence. Additionally, once changes are implemented, ensuring that the student's accommodation is securely locked down is vital to avoid any discrepancies during the assessment process. The inclusions of special populations training, which provides detailed guidance on these matters, can be accessed on the KDE website. By completing these trainings, educators and administrators can stay informed and equipped to navigate the complexities of student accommodations and ensure a fair assessment experience for all. Now that we've covered the two regulations, let's look at how to use best practices along with the regulation to avoid potential testing allegations. To uphold the integrity of assessments, comprehensive test security guidelines have been meticulously developed for the guidance of District Assessment Coordinators, DACs, Building Assessment Coordinators, BACs, test administrators, and all individuals involved in the administration of state assessments. Adhering to these guidelines is paramount as they serve to guarantee that no student has access to any form of assistance or materials that could potentially grant them an unfair advantage. The overarching objective of test security is to safeguard the authenticity of the assessment and guarantee that the results maintained are both valid and reliable. The regulation emphasizes the crucial responsibility of DACs, administrators, and teachers to ensure the utmost security of assessment materials throughout the entire testing process. This includes before, during, and after the test administration. To achieve this, measures must be taken to safeguard the integrity and confidentiality of these materials. When assessment materials are not being used during a test session, they must be stored in a highly secure location that grants access exclusively to authorized personnel. To facilitate a smooth and effective administration of any state assessment, Test Administration Manuals, or TAMs as you'll hear me refer to them, play a pivotal role. These manuals are provided to test administrators well in advance of the testing window. The TAM serves as a comprehensive guide outlining the necessary procedures and protocols that must be followed during the assessment process. By distributing TAMs to administrators, educational institutions ensure that the administrators are equipped with the essential knowledge and instructions required to conduct the assessment properly. It is crucial to note that secure test materials must not be reproduced in any form, either wholly or partially, or paraphrased in any manner. This includes actions such as discussing the contents, emailing, photographing, photocopying, handwriting, typing, or posting them on social network sites, scanning, and saving to any local drives, including Google or other cloud-based shared drives. These stringent restrictions exist to safeguard the integrity of the assessments and prevent any form of unfair advantage or compromise of the evaluation process. Furthermore, it is important to acknowledge that the test administration manuals hold the ultimate authority in determining which materials are classified as secure for a particular assessment. For instance, the ACT testing staff is permitted to print test tickets and provide scratch papers to test takers. However, the seal codes, which ensures the confidentiality of the test, is deliberately not printed. Those have to be given verbally. On the other hand, the KSA testing staff has the authority to print test tickets, seal codes, and provide scratch papers to test takers. While the admin code regulation may not specifically label these as secure items, the TAM established their classification. To ensure compliance with best practices and to avoid any potential testing allegation, it is imperative to handle these secure items with the utmost care and maintain their security from the moment they are printed, if allowed, until their secure destruction or return to the vendor is carried out. It is crucial to safeguard the integrity and confidentiality of these materials before, during, and after the state test administration. When assessment materials are not being used for scheduled testing sessions, they should be stored in a secure location that is accessible only to authorized personnel. During the Office of Assessment and Accountability site visits, staff may request to inspect the double lock storage areas and verify the presence of a sign-in and sign-out procedure. It is essential to maintain a high level of vigilance when handling secure test materials. This includes adhering to strict storage protocols, limiting access to authorized personnel only, and establishing clear guidelines for handling and storage of these materials. By upholding these best practices, DACS can contribute to the overall security and integrity of the assessment process, instilling confidence in the reliability and validity of the results. As a best practice, DACS should collaborate with testing staff to establish a systematic procedure for signing in and out all secure test materials. This procedure should encompass various aspects such as how the materials are handled, locked securely within the classroom, and stored in the BACS office. By implementing a well-defined protocol, DACS can ensure that the assessment materials are properly managed and accounted for at all times, reducing the risk of unauthorized access or mishandling. To maintain the integrity of assessments, it is crucial to prohibit the use of electronic devices in any way that could provide a testing advantage. This includes strictly forbidding students from accessing the internet, engaging in wireless communications, or utilizing imaging capabilities on electronic devices during testing sessions for purposes unrelated to test administration. Unfortunately, some students have been attempting to gain testing advantages by concealing various electronic devices such as cell phones, burner phones, borrowed phones, earbuds, and smartwatches. This prohibited behavior not only poses a threat to the fairness of the testing process, but also increase the risk of secure test items being shared on social media platforms. As a best practice, it is recommended to establish a robust procedure in collaboration with testing staff. This procedure should be designed to thoroughly check for hidden devices as students enter the testing environment. It is important to ensure that the procedure includes restricting students to power off all devices and store them out of their reach throughout the duration of the test. By implementing and consistently enforcing this procedure, schools can actively mitigate the risk of electronic devices being used to gain an unfair advantage during the assessment, thereby preserving the integrity and validity of the testing process. According to the regulation, it is specifically stated that test administration manuals, TAMs, should be distributed to administrators prior to the testing window. This requirement underscores the importance of providing test administrators with the necessary materials well in advance of the testing window. By ensuring that test administrators have access to TAMs before testing begins, they can thoroughly read and familiarize themselves with the manual's contents, enabling them to prepare for the upcoming test sessions adequately. One crucial aspect of using TAMs effectively is precisely following the provided directions and scripts. These scripts, which are updated annually and tailored to each assessment, play a vital role in ensuring the validity and reliability of the students' test results. By diligently reading all parts of the script aloud, the test administrators contribute to maintaining consistency and standardization throughout the administration process. To enhance the effectiveness of test administration, it is recommended as a best practice for testing staff to receive the TAM at least 1 week before the specific assessment is administered. This proactive approach allows ample time for testing staff to review the TAM thoroughly and address any clarification or concerns they may have through follow-up questions. By providing this time frame for review and clarification, testing staff can ensure they are well prepared and confident in their understanding of the TAM guidelines, leading to a smoother and more reliable assessment administration. In order to maintain fairness and consistency in testing, student absences must be excused for valid reasons. The valid reasons may include absences due to a student illness or injury and/or severe family or personal circumstances. Principals play a crucial role in determining the legitimacy of these absences and whether makeup testing is necessary for the affected students. KDE recommends that absent students should participate in makeup sessions with their peers as soon as possible. Makeup sessions should focus on the specific test parts missed during the absence. For legitimate absences, students should be allowed to pick up with the first unanswered item and be given the remaining allotted time to complete the test sessions. Adhering to this guideline helps ensure that each student has a fair opportunity to complete the assessment. All testing sessions should conclude at the end of the day. It is crucial to consider this when scheduling test sessions, ensuring that students have sufficient time to finish the session, or if necessary, do not begin the test session at all. As mentioned in previous sections, each assessment has its own unique guidelines and procedures. The TAM serves as the authoritative source of information on how absences are handled, providing comprehensive guidance to test administrators. As a best practice, reading and understanding the TAM is essential. Test administrators should develop a student absent procedure encompassing principal-approved absences, sequestering if required, and a well-planned makeup schedule. The rationale for sequestering is to prevent students from discussing secure test content. Please refer to your TAM to ensure if sequestering is required and the procedures on how to sequester students for each assessment. By proactively establishing and following clear procedures, schools can effectively address student absences, ensuring fairness and maintaining the integrity of the testing process. According to the inclusions regulations, school staff are responsible for making accommodations consistently available to students as part of their regular instruction and classroom assessment. Failure to do so could lead to a potential allegation depending on the circumstances. Additionally, the admin code establishes that any violation of the regulation outlined in 703 KR 5070, which pertains to the inclusions of special population in state-required assessments and accountability programs, will be considered a violation of the administration code. Consequently, such violations will be processed according to the guidelines outlined in the code. To ensure compliance and prevent potential allegations, as a best practice, DACS should ensure testing staff be well informed about deadlines for requesting accommodations, which may vary depending on the specific assessment being administered. Schools should also establish appropriate procedures to create a suitable testing environment that can accommodate students' needs. In monitoring and conducting observations, KDE has observed areas that can be problematic for the field. Scripts need to be read in their entirety. As a reminder, please ensure that testing staff receives the time early to read and follow up with any questions. It is also important to ensure that all training is completed by everyone involved with state assessments. Electronic devices. As a best practice, test administrators have students power down their cell phones and put them away during the testing session. Additionally, monitoring. Monitoring is an issue. Ensure proper monitoring is being conducted throughout the testing session. Good faith effort checklist. Only evaluative feedback can be given to students once all testing is complete and materials are out of the hands of students and teachers. A school could decide to share the checklist results only after all testing for the entire school is complete, or a district may give directions on how results can be shared. As a reminder, it is not acceptable to use local school board funds or cash rewards from school activity funds generated by students for student incentives or rewards to A, attend school during the testing window, B, participate in assessment activities, or C, perform well on state required assessments. Here are some important steps to think about. Training all staff involved. Additional staff to actively monitor students while testing. Maintain test security of all secured materials from the time they are received until they are shipped back to the vendor. You need technology staff for troubleshooting if testing online. Printing student test tickets prior to the test day and keeping them secure. Seating charts are required for all state assessments. As a reminder, knowing the assessment being given is vitally important, as the vendor policy differs from KDE. For example, ACT requires seating charts to be filled out on their form. However, KDE does not require an additional seating chart. The ACT seating chart is acceptable to KDE. Just keep a copy on file. Active monitoring is vitally important during testing. Active monitoring means moving about the testing environment and being vigilant at all times during the entirety of the exam being administered. The observations by KDE will be in person, but could also be a virtual visit. Ensuring test security is a matter of paramount importance, whether assessments are being conducted online or using paper-based methods. It is essential to emphasize that when we mention online testing, we are specifically referring to in-person testing supervised by trained staff. Currently, KDE and the Administration Code regulation strictly prohibits the use of remote proctoring for any assessment. Conducting assessments in person with trained staff offers several advantages. It ensures that test takers are provided with the necessary support and guidance throughout the testing process. Trained staff can address any questions or concerns that arise, offer clarification when needed, and create a standardized testing environment for all participants. Additionally, in-person testing allows for stricter adherence to testing security protocols. Trained staff members can effectively monitor the test-taking environment, ensuring that no unauthorized materials or resources are accessed during the assessment. This helps to maintain the confidentiality of test content and guarantees a level playing field for all test takers. While remote proctoring technologies may offer convenience and flexibility, they also introduce potential vulnerabilities that can compromise the security and fairness of the assessment process. Factors such as unreliable internet connections, difficulties in verifying the identity of the test taker, and the inability to closely monitor the testing environment make remote proctoring unsuitable for state assessments. Now let's take a look at the online reporting platform for allegations. While our aim is always to conduct a flawless test administration, it is important to acknowledge that test irregularities can occur despite our best efforts. When such irregularities arise, it is essential to address them promptly and effectively. Test violations must be reported as allegations. If there are questions about the types of violations that must be reported to KDE as allegations, please contact Beth Bells. To ensure integrity of the assessment process, allegations are thoroughly investigated by dedicated KDE staff. The investigation process necessitates the submission of detailed documentation regarding the incident. This documentation serves as a crucial record of the irregularity and helps guide the investigation. In some cases, additional visits to the school and interviews with the individuals involved, including both students and staff, may be required to gather comprehensive information and ensure a fair assessment of the situation. As a reminder, the platform for managing allegations is available online through Cavion Core. This streamlined platform simplifies the process of reporting and tracking allegations, making it more efficient. To fully utilize this tool, it is imperative for the DAC to ensure that an account ID has been created. If there are questions about the types of violations that must be reported to KDE as allegations, please contact Beth Bells. The link to the Cavion account and Cavion directions can be found on the KDE website on the Assessment Support Allegations Reporting page. There is also a video posted to the KDE website on the Assessment Support Allegations Reporting page that walks DACs through the process of setting up Cavion Core ID, if they have not already done so. To access the Cavion account and find detailed instructions for its setup, DACs can conveniently navigate to the Assessment Support/Allegation Reporting page on the KDE website. This page serves as a centralized hub, providing easy access to the necessary resources and information related to allegation reporting. Now let's look at some essential Cavion reminders. Important: all relevant documents uploaded with the allegation report should be collected in advance. However, if this cannot occur, a report can be temporarily saved as draft. Please keep in mind that a report in draft status is not officially a report, therefore it will not be processed. Once all necessary documentation has been collected, please remember to return to the report to upload and save it to submit. Before filing, record the date and time of the incident. List all involved. Identify content area and test parts impacted. Identify specific content questions, if applicable. Record what you learn. Report the incident. Collect the support documents for the allegation in advance of filing. Collect the support documents for allegations regarding special education issues before filing, if applicable. Complete the KDE Core Incident Reporting Form application. Connect to the KDE Core Allegation Reporting. Only authorized individuals can access the secure application, which is the DAC. Remember, you can save it as a draft and return to it later to finish filing. After you submit the incident report and all required documentation, KDE will begin the investigation. At that time, you will no longer be able to view the incident report in Cavion Core. KDE will contact you if any additional information or documentation is needed. If you have questions about whether the report was submitted successfully, please get in touch with Beth Bells in the Office of Legal Services. Please do not resubmit an incident report, as this will create unnecessary duplicates. And again, if you have any additional questions or need additional information, please contact Beth Bells in the Office of Legal Services. The contact information for allegations is Beth Bells. She is the Testing Allegations Coordinator in the Office of Legal Services. You can contact her by phone at 502-564-4474 or by email. And here is the resources with links that we have discussed here today for your convenience. And lastly, here is our contact information in the Office Assessment and Accountability. Feel free to email us at any time with any of your questions. So this does conclude the Test Security Back to School training. Here is a list of our other back to school trainings that we are offering this year. So feel free to view those at your convenience. And as always, we thank you for your time and your attendance here today. Thank you.